Hey there, welcome to the Uplift. We've got a great show for you, a great cast of characters as well, as we like to say, including these, a grandmother and her grandson who went on a 7-year adventure together, how he helped her fulfill a truly epic bucket list, and a man who braved floodwaters determined to get somewhere very important. Where to go? We'll tell you. Also, a boy given 30 minutes to live. Yes, just 30 minutes, but he overcame those odds and just reached a very big milestone. Also, a farmer who got in an accident and could no longer tend to his own crops, but his farm, not forgotten. Plus, a man who got a second chance at life and dedicated it all to ice cream. My kind of guy. All that, plus our heartwarming videos, ones you just got to see. You're watching The Uplift. Hey there, I'm Tony DeCopel. Welcome to The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes. No prescription required. We're going to begin with a story about a fun duo who went on a 7-year-long adventure together. Here's Caitlin O'Kane with more on what was an epic journey.
When Brad Ryan decided he needed a peaceful break, he planned a road trip to a national park. Rather than go alone, he thought of the perfect sidekick, his Grandma Joy.
When I learned she'd never seen the great wildernesses of America, deserts, mountains, oceans, you name it, I thought that that was something that would haunt me if I didn't intervene in some way.
Well, about all the traveling I did was to a fishing hole. Every winter, my husband took me to Okeechobee and we fished. That was about the extent of my wandering.
After that first visit to the Great Smoky Mountains, they realized they could continue to road trip around the U.S., hitting multiple parks each time.
The more I kept reading about the parks and I saw how close they were to one another, that we could make this giant loop, it became an obsession. And all I could think about was, I've got to see Grandma Joy at Old Faithful, and I've got to see her at the Redwoods, and I've got to see her at the Grand Canyon. I have to do this. I have to have those memories for my own long-term happiness. I think we're two peas in a pod when it comes to just our desire for travel, adventure, connection.
Joy is now 92. She has 3 children and 4 grandchildren. And Brad says she can still keep up when they're hiking mountains. So what's Joy's secret to staying active?
Well, I guess it helps to be optimistic, and you have to have the will to do it. And I've been lucky health-wise that I'm able to do that.
For Brad and Joy, sometimes the most powerful moments don't happen on the trail, but in the car.
We hit the road together and we start talking about our lives, and she told me things in her 80s and 90s about her life, some of the difficult things she's been through that she's never spoken to anybody in her life. And I was able to open up to her about some of the trials and tribulations of my own life. That's what I think is so powerful about the open road, is that you only can drive so far before those memories start to creep forward.
There are 63 U.S. national parks, and they've hit 62. It's not a specific park that stands out to them, it's memories.
We went on the Channel Islands, and I got to see my first whale. And he happened to jump up right in front of me.
I saw it. Grandma Joy.
And of course, you can't help but love the redwood forest. To think it's been standing there that many years. It's really makes you feel very tiny when you look up at the sky.
She went whitewater rafting at 91, class 3 rapids. She was braver than I was.
That was a whale of a trip, I'll tell you that.
The 63rd and final park on their list is the National Park of American Samoa, which they're planning to hit in April.
It's about 6,700 miles from Ohio, where we live. It's the only U.S. national park that's south of the equator. It's way out in the South Pacific. That's a long haul, but we're excited to go.
After a 7-year adventure, they're ready for their grand finale.
We can enjoy the beach, we can enjoy the beautiful tropical paradise, but as we've come to learn by talking to the rangers that work there, American Samoa is an island community that is very firmly rooted in family. And I think that there's a bit of a poetic beauty to ending it there for that reason as well.
Both Brad and Joy said their epic trip has taught them many important lessons. For one thing, climb mountains while you can. Another revelation, Joy is the perfect name for this inspiring grandmother.
She has always lived from a place of gratitude and joy, and that's a choice that she made. You know, that's a power that we all have, and a choice that we all have. And I think that that's been my greatest lesson. And I think that there's really there's no end in sight for Grandma Joy.
And I thank the Lord every morning for giving me another day. And it's your choice whether you're going to be a grumpy day or a sunny day. So smile to everybody and let everybody know you're having a whale of a time.
That's a great duo there. If you're struggling to find the words to say to somebody, get in a car together. The words will come. Love that story. Moving on for now, though, to this one, Hurricane Ian. After it made landfall, a man named Johnny Lauder left home and waded half a mile into the storm surge. Why? He was on a rescue mission, you could say, determined to save someone very important. Nicole Lauren from our CBS Miami station has their story.
Well, it was a frantic phone call from his mother that sprung Johnny Lauder into action. He found out that the rising water in her house was up to her chest, so he risked his own life to save her.
If I'd have been 20 minutes later, this would be a different interview.
It's an image being shared around the world. 84-year-old Karen Lauder in chest-deep water inside of her Naples home, confined to a wheelchair.
I get 4 feet of water, and I've been swimming forever.
Floodwaters are rising, and the clock is ticking, so her son Johnny did the unthinkable. The 49-year-old climbed out of his window, battled the current, and swam to his mother's house.
I don't know what time it is, 3:41. All right.
What's typically a 10-minute walk was a nearly 1-hour journey.
It doesn't look like waves. It looks like the earth is moving and things above the water are standing still.
Along the way, he found things like a life jacket and a knee board, items he used to stay afloat. And when he finally made it to his mother's house, he sent his family this video to show they were both alive.
With my mom, I got her up on the table, wrapped up so she doesn't go into hypothermia. She only has one leg, so it's going to be very difficult trying to get out of here. As you see, the water outside is still up to the window.
Shortly after, Lauder's son came to help. All three made the trek home.
A wheelchair, half deep water. Yeah, that's done.
Now today, the Lauder family is reflecting. And this image is one they will never forget.
There's so much other stuff happening right now, and I feel I'm not important, but I guess they want to see that there's some humanity left. So.
And as far as Karen goes,
Hey.
I'm Nicole. Hello. Nice to meet you.
She's at a local hospital being treated for an infection. She says she's doing okay.
I hung on to the kitchen table and looked out the window, and I seen all the water. I couldn't believe it.
Your son's a great guy. You raised a good one. So we're just happy you're safe.
He is a good guy. You shouldn't tell him that. He might get a big head.
And when it comes to evacuating, Karen says she is never riding out a storm again.
Get to another place, and there's another hurricane come through, you're darn shooting, I'm going to a shelter.
Now, Karen and the rest of the family seem to be keeping their spirits up with a good sense of humor. They also added that everything that was ruined during the storm is just material and can be replaced. They're just grateful to be alive. In Naples, Nicole Lauren, CBS 4 News.
All right, coming up, after a terrible accident, a farmer had to leave his crops behind, but his farm was not ignored. What happened to keep them in business? And the baby given 30 minutes to live. More than 2 years later, he's hitting a major milestone in his journey. Welcome back to the Uplift. We bring you back with some soft guitar because we got those heartwarming videos, ones you just gotta see. And we're gonna begin with this one. Take a gander at your screen. That's 2-year-old Liam joining his big sister's cheer squad. They're on the sidelines, of course. And you can see the toddler knows the routine, knows it really well, performs it with precision. Mom says that's because he has spent a lot of time at those games watching his sister practice, not only there, but also in their living room. He's got a bright future ahead. Look at those moves. All right, to our next video, Toby the Rescue Dog. There he is, celebrated his birthday recently, and the party went viral. Toby was found by the side of the road last year and adopted by a loving and caring family, a dream of every dog, and told us that he turned 2 this year. Toby didn't say that, the family did, but this was like his first birthday because he never had a celebration before. Remember, he was a rescue. That's before he was found. Now he's in what they call his forever home. Oh, look at the little cake. It's made to look like a bone. I love it. All right, we got one more story for you. Take a look at this video. It's from a kindergarten teacher. Her name is Miss Phillips. She goes by Cool Miss P.
What'd you say?
I'm strong.
Say it loud, man.
I'm strong.
Yeah, you are, man. Come on, hood on. Come on, go ahead. Tell them.
I'm strong.
Yeah, you are. Come on, tell them.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Anything. That's what I'm talking about. Go, come on, man.
I am smart.
Yeah, you are. Come on, girl.
I am loving.
Yeah, you are. Tell us, Brielle.
I can control my own feelings.
I can control my own feelings. Yes, you can. Go ahead.
I'm red.
Yeah, baby.
I'm healthy.
Yes, you are.
I'm strong.
Yeah, baby. Tell him, man.
I'm red.
Yeah, baby. Say, I can do anything. I can do hard things. I can do anything. I believe in me.
Those kids are going to remember Cool Mrs. P, and I think you will too. If you'd like to watch more of our heartwarming videos, you can find them on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Uplift News. Coming up in just a moment, when a 2-year-old is given just one wish, what does she choose? Something that can benefit other kids. Imagine that. And he bought a boat off of Craigslist, but he had no clue that this particular boat was the inspiration behind a TV show. 1 guess, 2 guesses? Come on. We'll tell you after the break. When a farmer in Minnesota got into a serious accident, he had to leave his farm for weeks. But during his recovery, his crops were not forgotten. Here's CBS Minnesota's John Lordson.
I've never been worried through the whole thing because the good Lord usually takes care of me one way or the other.
On August 15th, Scott Legred was driving to do some work at a gravel pit when a dog ran into the road. He swerved quickly, lost control, and ended up rolling his truck several times.
Broken right collarbone, punctured and collapsed right lung, 7 broken ribs on the left side.
Those were just some of his injuries. He spent weeks recovering at the Mayo Clinic, but while he was rehabbing, his neighbors were plotting.
After the St. Peter tornado, he was up there. After the flooding in Grand Forks, he was up there and helped.
Fellow farmer Tim Steyer has always admired Scott's willingness to volunteer, so Tim and other farmers decided to do something special for their neighbor.
Were you surprised that so many people wanted to step up to help Scott?
No, not a bit. This is farm country. The generosity started right away.
On Tuesday, neighbors showed up with combines, trucks, and grain carts and made fast work of Scott's soybeans. They harvested about 240 acres in about 4 hours. That would have taken Scott a week to do on his own. What made it even more special is they did the exact same thing for Scott 11 years ago after his dad passed away from cancer.
It's pretty amazing, you know, these people are taking time out of their busy schedule. This is the busy time of the year for us farmers. Patience plays a big part. Faith plays a big part in getting through something like this.
In Faribault County, John Lordson, WCCO 4 News.
Community coming to the rescue out there. Love that story. Moving on to our next, Chris Wilson. He bought an old boat docked in California, and he was determined to save it. What he didn't know was he was renovating the inspiration behind a nautical TV show. Here's CBS Sacramento's Steve Large.
This is the original Love Boat. Its days are now spent docked in the San Joaquin Delta, undergoing a massive renovation.
I decided I needed to do what I could to try to, save the ship.
Chris Wilson bought the boat off Craigslist and only later found its history, the ship inspiring the Love Boat author to write the book, that became the series.
And she was a cruise director aboard this vessel for quite some time.
Wilson gave us a tour inside where you could feel the ship's history.
And this is kind of what you'd call the grand staircase.
The main lounge has chairs and tables that were on the original Love Boat series, along with artwork from the show.
Hey, let's go ahead and take a look at something exciting and new on this old Love Boat. One of the rooms. Open the door and step inside.
The ship has 130 rooms, and when it was in its heyday, could hold 230 passengers and 35 crew. Here's a photo of the ship in the 1960s, taken at a port in Greece, and a model of what it will look like when the renovation is complete. This Love Boat TV show reboot.
I absolutely think that this thing's gonna, play some kind of a role in that. How could it not?
Turns out the boat that launched the brand is in our Delta backyard.
The things you find on Craigslist. Love that renovation expert. All right, here we go. To our next story. If you give a 2-year-old a wish, what are they going to ask for? Well, one little girl in Minnesota wished for something very simple, but it ended up benefiting a lot of other kids. Here's CBS Minnesota's Ren Clayton.
Joy comes in many forms. Saturday in Blaine, it came as a carnival. All for 2-year-old Kenna Volkman. She had one wish.
Pretty.
Thanks to Fridley-based Wishes and More, that came true. About a year and a half ago, Kenna was diagnosed with retinoblastoma. She had a tumor on her left eye.
At first it was very scary, and then as it came to the point where the chemo was done, it became more just looking forward to the future, and at this point we're in maintenance mode, and we're hoping that it continues that way.
Kenna has had 2 more tumors, quickly treated. She now has partial vision in that one eye.
It was stressful.
We weren't sure if she'd be able to keep her eye or not.
Saturday, a celebration of the progress she's made. But she had one more wish.
More wishes.
Kenna's family wanted the carnival to help grant even more kids wishes, doing double duty as a fundraiser.
Touched all of our hearts because it was to give. At the same time, having an experience for a little girl who loves parties.
We invited everyone we know, so friends from work, friends from daycare, friends all around, everyone.
Hundreds of people came through Infinite Campus in Blaine to lend their support for an organization who grants wishes as big as deep-sea fishing or Disneyland trips for kids who are sick.
We come in and can't do anything about that, but we sure can make some very special memories and some extraordinary moments, and that's what we do. Her family will remember this day forever.
This weekend, a unique wish granted. Jumping for joy. In Blaine, Ren Clayton, WCCO 4 News.
Coming up in just a moment, a man who got into a biking accident dealt with serious pain, then used his second chance at life for something sweet. Plus, after 1,000 days in the hospital, this baby has reached a happy milestone. Meet the inspiring 2-year-old. It's up next. Francesco spent the first 1,000 days of his life in the hospital, but overcoming many challenges after he did so, he hit a life-changing milestone. Here's CBS Chicago's Sharday Gray.
Francesco Bruno will be 3 in December. He has seen nothing but hospital walls his whole life, relying on a ventilator to breathe and tubes that help him eat. But on Tuesday, that all changes.
We're very happy, excited, nervous, tense, scared, overwhelmed, really happy, everything all together, overjoyed. It's just a melting pot of emotions.
He has a life-threatening genetic condition that affects his bones and muscles. Francesco was diagnosed with a rare form of skeletal dysplasia that specifically impacts his ribs, making it difficult for his lungs to grow properly. But his parents say he's a fighter.
They told us when he was going to be born, he was only going to live for 30 minutes. You know, so, I mean, it's really a miracle that he's with us today.
Francesco has been to 4 different hospitals in 3 different states, and today he gets to go home to be with his family. It's not only emotional for his parents, but for the staff at Laura Beta Hospital as well.
Bye, Francesco!
Taking Francesco home won't be without challenges, but hospital staff say he is getting stronger every day, and his parents took classes and are trained to handle his many needs.
The day that he first got admitted here, those conversations were starting to happen between our case management and our nursing team to get them ready and prepared.
We're going to go through this one day at a time like we've been doing till now.
Sade Gray, CBS 2 News.
Finally, a man who got into an accident and got a second chance at life and then dedicated that second chance to ice cream. Here's Omar Villafranca with the story.
It's delivery day for Will Gibson and his canine co-pilot. Together, they deliver homemade ice cream and sweet greetings.
Who wouldn't want to buy something that tastes amazing and you know that you're supporting someone behind it?
The person behind it is a former home theater salesman, now ice cream entrepreneur. A career change forced by a bicycle crash that left Gibson in severe pain and unable to work. Making ice cream at home started as a hobby to keep him busy and evolved into a business.
Gorgeous.
Now, Gibson churns out 600 pints a week.
When you were in the hospital, did you think that there was light at the end of this tunnel?
No.
Ice cream rescued Gibson, and his rescue dog has become the name and face of his company, Sweet Pearl. She showed up abandoned on his doorstep while he was recovering.
Pearl and I had each other. I'm probably going to be suffering to some degree for the rest of my life, but all of this is worth it.
A business changing lives one scoop at a time.
White chocolate and churro coffee, it is my absolute favorite one.
Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Wiley, Texas.
All right, ice cream is always worth it. Go ahead, have a bowl yourself. Tell them Tony said it's okay. That's our show. I hope it brightened your day. I hope it lifted you up. In fact, I know that it did. Meantime, I'm going to go find some more good news. See you again soon.